Hello, this is Ray Edwards once again from learncopy.com and webcopywriting.com with another installment of copywriting tips and tricks. In this segment, we're going to look at how to enhance the personal appeal of your sales letter. Now, probably the most effective form of advertising is word of mouth, and there's a reason for this. You see, you will be more readily able to take a friend's advice about a product that she has used than trust an advertiser's blurb. One of the lofty goals of a great copywriter then is to be transformed into a trusted friend and advocate of the reader. Instead of writing as a crowd, you can write as to one person sitting on a park bench next to you. In other words, a friend. This proven strategy will explain the format of the sales letter used in direct marketing, and which is fast becoming quite popular in online selling. You see, letters written in this personal style would reduce the buyer's resistance and ushers you into the circle of confidence and trust. So the more cold and formal style of writing that is common to the corporate world normally leaves the reader feeling small and talked down to or emotionally unmoved. You see, it's a tenet of effective copywriting that your letter must be emotionally appealing, because people buy based on emotion and then they justify their purchase using logic. So being guided by our emotions is not just relegated to small purchases, but to any purchase that you and I make. In a cover story in Time magazine, the article discussed the skyrocketing house prices. Now, this article was very interesting to read because the author suggested reason for the recent real estate craze. And he writes that the boom is as much an emotional story as an economic one. It's about the excitement of potential wealth, the fear of missing out, and the envy toward the guy next door who bought for a third of what you paid, and the embarrassment of feeling too poor for your neighborhood as houses around you are torn down. So unless your sales message resonates emotionally with your prospect, then you lose potential sales. Now, here are a number of ways you can use in order to increase the personal appeal of your sales letter. Number one, write as to one person. So in other words, imagine that that person is sitting right across from you and write as you would speak to them. You see, when a prospect reads your sales copy, you want him to feel singled out of the crowd and not as a part of some wider audience. Number two, tell a personal story. If you created the product to solve a personal problem, then tell this story. The reader will more readily feel akin to you since they are struggling with the very same issues. Number three, use your picture within the sales letter if possible. You see, adding a face to the letter can greatly enhance the emotional appeal of the letter. You must be cautious, however, if your appearance will in any way offend your market segment. If you are a skinhead with bright tattoos and are trying to reach mothers of young children, maybe you want to omit the picture and simply depend on the words. Number four, include your signature at the end of the letter. Even if you are cautious about using your actual signature, you can still use a handwritten style font as a substitute. Number five, admit to common human weaknesses. This doesn't mean that you have to start a pre-meeting confession session, but you can admit to not being perfect. The American public especially likes to know that you are real, which means that you have a few black spots. People shy away from the know-it-alls and the goody-goody personalities, and you don't want to portray this in your copy. Number six, use as many testimonials as possible. So if your letters are accustomed to You can ask permission to use these as testimonials in your letters. Again, you are able to share a customer's story with your audience. You see, people are interested in people, period. Number 7, write in a conversational style by using contractions such as am, can't, you'll, would, etc. And you can also use ellipses to show pauses. This helps to give the letter a less written feel and a more spoken feel. You can also use words that will build a conversational atmosphere, such as listen up, pay attention here, I want to talk to you. All of these catchphrases make your writing seem more audible than written. Keep in mind that we read by listening to our own voices in our heads. So all writing go through this translation process. Number 8, try to build rhythm and cadence by using punctuations to emphasize important words. For example, consider the following sentence. Our research indicates that it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 months of regular activity to measure significant changes in health and fitness, so you can expect to see real improvements in 6 months if you stick with a well-planned program of physical activity. Now, if you read the sentence with the capitalized words, if you read the sentence without the capitalized words, regular and if, then the emphasis of the message changes, even though the words didn't. You can do the same to mimic raising your voice, thus giving your writing some spoken quality. In the same way, long sentences and paragraphs show slow, contemplative movement and take some time to digest properly. Short sentences will do the opposite. Number 9, identify with your audience as much as possible. You, of course, mustn't know the people you are writing to, or at least writing for. Are they afraid? Do they have pains? Are they new parents? What are their common values? Are they patriotic? So being able to answer these questions will help you to tell your story in a way that they can identify with. If your situation is totally foreign to your target audience, then your job becomes even more difficult. You see, the more personality you give to your sales letter, the more persons you'll convince to buy your product or service. And soon you'll benefit from word-of-mouth advertising as your customers continue to tell your story, which is what you really want. And you can't get any more personal than that.